All right, guys, today we're going over a takedown, just a basic concept of how to engage maybe some grips using a collar tie, ducking under to beat the collar tie, getting essentially to the hip, and then using what I like to call this circling the drain, the spinning rotational movement to get somebody down the ground. It's pretty safe, especially at a white belt level. You're not really going to hurt somebody, or you can do it super fast at a high pace like wrestling level, or it's really good for a technical attack of getting to the turtle position for higher belt. So great takedown all across the board. So we're going to start out with the idea that I'm getting to a collar tie. So for a collar tie, I want to be in this middle lane. I'm not out here doing arm drags. I'm not gripping for the wrist. I have to commit to being pretty tight. Ideally speaking, I want the inside control. Like if I'm here on the inside of his arms, much better control for me, right? I have the ability to control the head, get to the body, maybe body locks or level changes for my doubles and singles, etc. If he's on the inside lane for me, this is a lot harder, and we're going to fight for those underhooks, or I'm going to create space and disengage. But what often happens in no gi and wrestling is as I'm here and working for this, I get a collar tie and so does he. We kind of get this 50-50. And both of us, rather than disengaging, we actually accept that, hey, we're going to both have a collar tie here and we work with it. So I'm going to defend his collar tie and he'll probably do the same to me. One of the ways I like to do it is I keep my middle finger on the inside of the elbow here. And what I'm doing essentially is no thumbs, I'm gripping, I'm hanging like a hook, heavy on it, and I'm keeping my elbow in tight. What I don't want to do is come here with a knife hand and pull. This motion is not strong for me. But if I come here with a hook and pull with my elbow, it also gets me a little bit of a palm heel kind of striking motion I can use against his elbow. So as he's moving, I can push his elbow in. And this push-pull motion creates a lot of torque on his neck. So I can sit there and hang, or here like this, and when I'm ready, I push and pull and I can move him. Pretty good way to control him, okay? So I'm on that elbow. I'm not high with the knife hand, I'm hanging like a hook. He'll probably do the same thing to me, and that's okay. The other part we want to recognize is our heads. If I leave all this space, if it's MMA or a street fight, there's headbutting, I come over the top, the elbows are there. So I want to be careful on that, I want to lose this space. A good way to do it is bury my forehead in his shoulder, and we're going to go ear to ear. So I'm here like this. There's head control, now I can push and pull, and I can start working that arm, he's working the arm. We're still in a 50-50, neither really has an advantage. Last point I want to think about is the legs. If I stand tall, if we're both like this, like chest to chest, this is terrible posture, and it doesn't take much to hook somebody's leg and send them flying. So what tends to happen is, of course, our legs go back, we drop levels, and we're pushing much more with our hips and driving here. This is what we want, okay? What I'm going to look forward to doing, we're going to have a slippery, sweaty spot here. So what I'm going to look to do is control this arm by getting to the inside. Since I'm on the outside, even though it's still a good control of the collar tie, if I swim to the inside, I can have a better inside lane that gives me the whole arm, which creates my underhook, or excuse me, creates my space to duck under. So the way I do that, as I'm holding here, sometimes I'll pull a little bit, lift up a little bit, sometimes I push, get him to wiggle the arm, and when I'm ready, I circle underneath the bicep. The way I do it is I'm using my hand and just a little bit of the elbow. I don't want to drive deep because he can compress here. If he drops and like hugs my whole body, I may get stuck, no good. So I'm doing it fairly fast, but I'm staying tight to his arm. So I'm relaxed here, I slide through and come up here. As I do it, I tend to push my head away, and I drive my hand, not just to his bicep, all the way to the tricep. See my hands going over. Now my forearm is going to be against his elbow pit. Not just my wrist, which bends. My forearm, I want that bone structure. It's much harder. If I get just to the wrist, can't flare there. Keep that tight, doesn't work. I drive up, now I flare, okay? Nice and tight. Now as I flare, he's going to want to come back down, so I may have to hang here and move him a bit, but what this does is it creates a rotational effect, like a steering wheel. So instead of just pulling and pushing, now with this inside lane, I can rotate and create some opportunities. So I'm here like this in the 50-50 collar tie. I swim to the inside, I go deep to that tricep. As I'm here, what I like to do is step this far foot back here. You'll see it like this. I'll step and pull. I step, pull, and flare, okay? The way I'm doing this, I'm using this hand, he's leaning heavy on me. So when I step, there's that tendency for him to want to step forward. I'm pulling his head down, encouraging that. And then I'm also flaring the elbow to tilt it. And if you look from this side, as I do this and step, there's a big space. Now I can't just drive my head, but I'm going to drop my level and then drive underneath. A lot of wrestlers will talk about checking your hair gel. That's kind of what we're looking for. I get that inside lane, I pull and step, and I check my hair. As I'm here, I'm right to the shoulder. Let's turn a little bit. I'm right to the shoulder. Now instead of taking the back, or any of these backside trips or body locks, that's all fine, but today we're gonna stay up tight on the shoulder and I'm gonna hold on to the neck. I never let this hand go. But what I am gonna do is chase him around in a tight spiral. So right now, all his weight is heavy on my back foot. He's actually pulling on me because I'm turning around, but he's gonna wanna turn back to me. And if I wait too long, we'll reset. So I'm gonna keep chasing and pull his head down with this hand, this collar tie hand. So I'm here like this, I circle to the inside, stepped and pulled, and now I keep chasing that hip, and I go, okay? Now as I'm doing this, I can't just do big circles. I'm not doing this, because there's no good here. I'm gonna take this foot and move it out of the way and pull him to where that was, so that I can drop him all the way to the mat. We'll try it one more time. Nice and relaxed here, I'm gripping, I swim to the inside, I'm working, I step, I pull, and I'm dropping down. Now from there, I even just drop my whole body weight right to my knees. You can step slowly. But I'm still holding on here. My hand that's around the waist is now gonna flare out. Coming right to the inside here, spiral out, okay? Keeping that leg. If I don't, he starts stepping this foot up or driving into me, it's no good. I want that controlled. Makes it hard for him to posture. Last thing I need to do is I'm chest heavy here. See where I'm chest heavy, but I wanna turn this hip, connect here. So I'm under like this, and I'm gonna turn and connect here, so I'm driving into him. Good control, so go ahead and move around. It's hard. This is a tight position for me. So one last time, we'll go through all that. We'll do it slow, then a little more light speed. I got into that middle zone, collar tie, nice up on the head, not the neck. Elbows in his sternum. I feel like this in the elbow, head in, tight, moving. When I see my opportunity, I thread to the inside, deep to the tricep, step back, turn, keep going. Drive, and then I turn to that spiral rack. Just a nice takedown, pretty safe. I can do it fairly quickly, I can do it fairly slow. It can be a wrestling move or even a jiu-jitsu takedown against higher belts, and it sets you up in that turtle opportunity for some good attacks. Try it out, hope you like it.